Hey everyone, welcome back to Iron Horse Woodcraft. The project for today's video came out of necessity. So my family decided to repurpose an old bookshelf and we've turned that into a sports storage area. Now the problem that we ran into is there's nowhere for my daughter to store all of her baseball bats. And what I ended up finding is basically finding them all over the garage. So for today's project, I'm going to use a piece of scrap wood and basically get these bats off of the ground and hang it up where they belong. So let's get started. So as woodworkers, we often find ourselves with a collection of wood that we just can't let go of and we hold on to dearly for that perfect project that they're going to be for, and we ended up having a massive wood pile of scraps and cut-offs and things that we just can't find a new home for. So out of that pile I found what I thought was the perfect piece of poplar. It was an offcut of another project that I worked on, and this piece was a little warped, so I kept moving it around and never really finding the perfect project other than basically a campfire until this project came to mind. So I was able to finally find a purpose for this one. I didn't have much of a design in mind, but based on the width of this piece, I was able to cut it into 3-inch strips. You can really see on the table saw how warped it actually was. The depth of the existing shelf at least gave me a dimension of 11.5 inches, which is what I cut them down to on the miter saw. Instead of playing with measurements and math, I used a compass to figure out the spacing for the 3 bats to fit. From there, I measured the width of the handle using some digital calipers, though the battery was dead, so I had to then cross-reference them onto a tape measure to figure out that they are 1 inch. Then back to using the compass to find the center, so then I can take the piece over to the drill press and cut out the holes. I extended the holes on one of the sides and then went over to the bandsaw to cut out the pieces. I used then a small roundover bit to clean up the top edge and then gave the whole piece a sanding. This is really a one step up from a shop project, so it doesn't have to be perfect, I just wanted it to be functional. I then found the center of the backer piece and then attached the part with the slots onto it using glue and screws. Next up, I drilled out the holes for the bolts to go through and then placed it against the shelf and leveled everything off so that I can mark the corresponding holes. I wanted this shelf to be nice and high, but one thing that I didn't compensate for was the bottom of the top shelf. But it all worked out in the end. Thanks for watching my quick and simple few hour build and excuse to use up some scrap wood. Have a good one.